Yeah.
believe Jordan's made top 32 multiple times in seniors, but also in masters.
Yeah, I saw Jordan playing earlier. They were the backup stream. He was playing against Azul, and he had a very good performance there. So excited to finally see him on camera against a player of Naomi's caliber.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to see Naomi playing, surprise, surprise, we have a Lycanroc GX deck that has Buzzwole GX in it. Yeah. I don't feel like we're ever going to escape that card.
Yeah, we're going to see it a lot. Both players putting out their prizes, not too bad for either player.
And Jordan, on the other side, is going to be playing Golisopod with Zoroark GX. So both pretty decks that are probably top 3 at the moment in terms of popularity, but also what people would consider to be the best decks in format.
Yeah, these are 2 decks that I really expected to see the most of before I hopped on my plane. Of course, as soon as I arrived here, I got word of all of the Guardy Zoroark decks that were popping up, and now we see that these 2 decks are still pretty relevant, and both players doing well at 5-1.
So it's a pretty interesting matchup. I say both players were looking to probably bridge it the first turn and get set up. Naomi also probably looking to get an energy on the Rockruff, but given that Jordan's going first in this case, he's possibly more likely to be the one that's applying pressure first. And if he can get rid of the energy that Naomi's putting on the Rockruff to start with, that's pretty devastating, and it could mean that all the momentum's in his favor. So I really credit the person that goes first in this matchup as being the one that's probably going to take prizes early and may just run away with the game.
Absolutely. Most of the time when I'm watching this matchup, it's can you get multiple Wimpod down, which obviously Jordan focused on here, because you want to start using your Golisopod very aggressively. If you can start to remove all of the Rockruff, potentially the Lycanroc, and you're just playing against Buzzwoles, you have cards like Mewtwo that you can just use as a strict counter against them, and you've got your Zoroark giving you trades, and you can really just start to dominate the game if you can avoid that Lycanroc taking over, removing all of the grass Pokemon, and just beating up on all your Zoroarks.
Yeah, so it's a bit of whoever can get that pressure down first.
Right.
I know one card that we were discussing when we were looking at the list is Mallow, and we had differing opinions about this card.
Yeah, this is a card that I've removed from my list. I don't think that it really belongs in this Zoroark Golisopod deck. You can just play extra cards. I know one card that he cut was Parallel City. Just imagine that in this matchup, you could remove some of these potential Rockruff, Lycanrocs, and just make your job so much easier. Instead, he opted for the Mallow, which I've only used to grab grass energy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always look at it like trade has such great synergy with Mallow, but I can see your point in that there's other cards that might warrant a spot instead.
Just put out 4 Zoroarks and just trade and get everything you want. You don't have to put it on top.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You're going to look at, 8 cards with 4 Zoroarks? Jordan, on his turn, I noticed that he didn't actually play an energy. I suppose it's not quite as vital as maybe in the... I'd say in the Lycanroc Zoroark deck, they definitely want to get an energy on the Rockruff first, but I still think it's kind of essential to get an energy down on a Wimpod so you can start threatening, if you have to, an early Crossing Cut GX or maybe an Armor Press.
Definitely. That's one thing that I always like to go for in this matchup. Attaching to Zorua, even, it just seems wrong. It's so often you're going to see your opponent with that early turn 1 Guzma, and they always have the Buzzwole. You just have to assume Buzzwole's coming down. So early energy onto the Wimpod could just mean your Golisopod runs over. But Jordan didn't have that option.
And Naomi, for her part, on her first turn, she's just going to want to get down early pressure, as you always do with Buzzwole, but it looks like she had that Rockruff stuck in the active. Could only get 1 energy onto the Buzzwole, and Jordan's response is, Enhanced Hammer, get rid of that energy, put you back again.
Yep, and he has Sycamore, so he's going to get himself 7 cards. Mallow, rightfully in the discard pile where it belongs, and he drew into some pretty great cards for himself, lacking energy, though.
One of those cards is that Zoroark. He's just seen trading away. I really rate that Zoroark. I think it's great. It can actually hit that 190 HP, 190 damage when a lot of Pokemon struggle and they'll be capped at 180.
Yeah.
But I guess he's saying maybe not so relevant in this matchup, even though I'm versing Buzzwole GX.
Yeah, he might be able to find it later with a double puzzle and surprise if he's able to keep at least one of these Zoruas unevolved. But I seem to like where he's at right now. He's going to get a knockout on the lone Rockruff. Buzzwole is going to have to come up and start to apply pressure to this Zoroark, but I think Jordan's exactly where he wants to be.
Yeah, and some of Naomi's strategy is she really wants to get down energy onto the Buzzwole and also be using Max Elixir. And if that Buzzwole's in the active spot, you're not going to be Max Elixir into it anytime soon.
Yeah, that's right. She could get some of them onto the Rockruff, I guess, but that's not where you want to be putting all your energies.
I mean, it wouldn't be such a bad thing at this point. If she can get a Lycanroc GX out, it will get a knockout in that Zoroark GX. But Jordan's already so set up. He has 4 Pokemon on the bench, potentially could just come in and, hit into that Lycanroc, and one of those is a Golisopod that's attacking for weakness.
Yeah, if you have a grass energy, you're pretty set.
Yeah, for sure. A pretty slow start, I'd say, for Naomi. I'd say for both players, maybe.
Yeah, and Naomi right here drew into a bunch of supporters and no Max Elixir, so it's going to be a slow start. It's continuing. She's already played her energy for the turn, too, so just going to hit in for 60.
Yeah, not going to be loading up any energy on that Buzzwole on the bench anytime soon either. Opting to put damage on the Golisopod GX. Do you think that's the correct play?
It's a little risky. I understand that she sees that that's a threat, but you kind of open up potential for Acerola to come into play here. If Jordan wanted to get used out of that Floatstone on a different Pokemon, he could then pick that up. He's got another Wimpod, so he could replay the Golisopod. So it does get a little risky. I maybe would like to focus on more of these Zoroarks and just work on the Golisopod in one big swing turn.
Yeah, and I guess just take those quote-unquote easy prizes off the Zoroark GXs that you can take with your hitting for weakness.
Right.
Looks like Jordan will go for a Guzma here and take out the Rockruff, identifying Lycanroc GX as being quite a big threat in this matchup.
Yep, this is exactly what I'd like to see out of Jordan if he wants to win this match. He's going to put himself in a great spot, removing all these Rockruffs, and eventually he's just going to be playing against a big Buzzwole, and he just needs to have enough trades to go find Mewtwo, Choice Band, DCE, and he's going to dominate this matchup.
I'd say it's pretty clever that he's also using the Zoroark GX. He's never putting that Golisopod GX in harm's way, because he knows this is my counter to if I accidentally leave a Rockruff to turn into a Lycanroc.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to swing with this.
It's a nice safety net for sure.
Naomi here, unfortunately, she's just been jet punching away, just doing little 30 damage chips everywhere.
Yeah, she's looking like a pretty aggressive theme deck, slowly attaching energies and hitting you in the face, but it's not going to do enough right now.
A good pre-release deck.
That's for sure.
It's excellent.
I'd be just excited to get all those Buzzwoles in my kit. Now we see Sudowoodo in the hand. I don't know if that's going to be terribly relevant. You got to have energies on board if you want to get that Sudowoodo running.
I mean, Sudowoodo is more relevant when you are playing Max Elixir, which she is.
Yeah.
So it could come in, surprise Zoroark GX, giving it a bit of its own medicine with that Rider speeding.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, it requires a few pieces, and it does require getting that Buzzwole out of the active. Whether that's being knocked out, well, it's not necessarily a good thing, is it?
Right. Now we see Jordan. If he's able to get a Guzma again, if he can take out this Remoraid, I feel like he's in a fantastic spot. Just limiting everything that Naomi's been able to do so far has worked out great for him. Doesn't have bench space, obviously, for a Mewtwo to come into play, but Acerola could open that up. So a lot of different things could happen for him. And yeah, you already see now it's got triple trade available. And this is just how this game can get out of control sometimes, just drawing everything you need.
I think he also had an enhanced hammer in hand. So there we are. That's played on cue.
Yep.
That's going to set Naomi back again. So again, she'll have to be relying on Max Elixirs if she's wanting to get that Buzzwole online at any point. And there's an Acerola undoing all of Naomi's hard work so far.
Yeah, Jordan right on cue is able to find that Acerola, remove the damage, even has max potion, so he can heal both of his Zoroarks essentially.
The ultimate prize denial.
And now he just has to decide who's his best attacker here. Doesn't have to worry about Lycanrocs, so going to get aggressive with that Golisopod. And we know he's got a double colorless energy in hand. Seems like a pretty strong play.
Yeah, definitely. Armor Press even, Crossing Cut GX, even First Impression, which attacks for 1 energy, 120 damage. All are really great options against this Buzzwole that's not really coming back with anything significant. Golisopod also is not weak to Sudowoodo. So
that's right.
Sort of limits Naomi's option to use Sudowoodo there as well.
Yeah.
Does find the Octillery, which is a sort of saving grace. Does mean she can draw some more cards and hopefully get some of those combinations going, some of those max elixirs. Maybe find a Brooklet Hill if she wants to start getting down some more Rockruffs and trying to go through that route again, getting up a Lycanroc GX. But slow going definitely from this Buzzwole deck this time, and not really what it's wanting to be doing.
Yeah, she has not had a lot of items available to her, which is really what she wants to find. If she's getting all of those items down, that means that Octillery is going to start drawing a ton of cards. She did have Ultra Ball in hand along with 2 other cards. I guess those cards were important to her because she chose not to just use the Ultra Ball and draw 5 off of the Abyssal hand. Instead, a safer approach, held onto an N, and then played that now. So maybe if she's able to find some cards off this N, that'd be good for her, but she may have limited some resources she could have potentially found.
Yeah, definitely. And that N coming out means that we're not going to see a Guzma or anything like that, so there's no way we're going to see a knockout on a Zoroark GX this turn.
Yeah.
This deck doesn't typically run, and this list certainly doesn't run Counter Catcher, so that's not an option either. Gonna have to see what the strategy is here.
Yeah, and it's not like N does too much to Jordan. We know he's going to draw a bunch of cards right back.
And I see in Naomi's hand one of the Lycanrocs that isn't the GX Lycanroc. Can you tell me a bit about
what that's doing in there? The one that hates Hoopa. Yeah, it's so that it can do a little extra damage, and it's just nice to have that 1 energy attack to attack into those Hoopas, and just try to clear out any of those wall decks, because wall can be very disruptive, and you just don't want to take that loss. Yeah,
I guess it's a non-GX, non-EX that can attack for basic energy.
Yeah.
That gets around a lot of things, like that Xurkitree and that Hoopa, like you were saying, hitting for weakness. So I guess that's a pretty good option. There's probably a tech in there for that reason.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing... I think Naomi's hand consists of Floatstone, Guzma, Energy, Lele. It's a lot of good things, but not right now.
Yeah, and it might just be too slow, honestly. Jordan is starting off strong. We knew off of that N, he was able to draw Zoroark, Mewtwo, another Golisopod, so he's got just about everything he wants. It's just a matter of how he plays it out at this point.
Yeah, he's certainly denying prizes left, right, and center, like evolving the Zoroarks where necessary, or Acerola, or Max Potion. You have to give Golisopod Zoroark credit. It's really has a lot of stamina. It can really stay in there for a long period of time, keep everything alive, heal everything. It doesn't worry about hitting things for 1-shots. It's pretty happy to just take 2 shots and make sure nothing of its own is KO'd.
Absolutely, and wow, even the grass energy on the bench Golisopod, so that he can just promote and do a first impression. It's a nice clean knockout. Don't have to worry about anything wild happening. And
okay,
interesting. He's going to go ahead and use the Guzma here. Knows that Buzzwole is always going to be available to him for a knockout. Just wants to get rid of that Sudowoodo.
Yeah, definitely. Recognizing that it's a threat and it can take out the Zoroark GX. I guess as a play of a high-level player, identifying threats before they do the damage to you, and recognizing that you can take those easy prizes later, like that Buzzwole that's already on 120 damage.
Yeah.
Probably knowing that Naomi doesn't play any Acerola or Max Potion or sort of recovery cards, I guess. Healing cards.
It's a strong play to avoid potentially a Zoroark being promoted, knocked out, and then you fall to an N later in the game. You just want to make sure that you're playing to your best outs, and if you have a ton of cards in hand, it's really hard to lose.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, Zoroark allowing you to C6 and get rid of other cards that would be terrible to draw when you are end.
Right.
But what can Naomi get here with a Lele? It could be a stalling Guzma, perhaps?
Yeah, it just depends what supporters she plays. It looks like she just plays the 4-4-4 with the N, Sycamore, and Guzma. So not going to see any Acerola, which would have been really nice. But yeah, it looks like she's going to just try to find the most cards she can with a Sycamore here.
Yeah, definitely. Energies, I guess. Max. I don't believe we've seen any Max Elixirs.
Right?
I swear they're in the deck.
I'm starting to worry.
There are 4, I'm sure of it. We are going to see them eventually, and there are 10 fighting energy, so that's a pretty good... the stats for hitting fighting energy off your Max Elixir have got to be pretty good. You can see a few in there. There's at least 2. She's going to Brooklet Hill for a Remoraid. Potentially getting up a second Octillery in the future is actually not a bad idea when you're sort of struggling to draw what you need. Making sure you can see more and more cards throughout the game is always a good thing.
Yeah. I think it was actually an Ultra Ball, but either way, it works out just fine. She might actually choose to just discard it here with the Sycamore if she doesn't want it.
I mean, Jordan is on 3 prizes left, so the Remoraid does provide that 1 prize knockout for 60, but I mean, Octillery is just as easy to knock out.
And Octillery awkwardly gives her a Max Elixir, but 2 other fighting energy. And the only supporter she has is that Sycamore. So do you want to get rid of 2 fighting energies? I think you have to at this point. You just got to keep going.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, if she can get a Knuckle Impact off, it's still not actually going to be knocking out the Golisopod Zoroark, so that's difficult. But certainly an Absorption GX here could put some things in Naomi's favor, but
Yeah.
she's still very far behind. And Jordan has plenty of attackers ready to go.
Yeah, and this just walks into the Mewtwo as well, and we know that he's holding on to that.
Yeah, certainly a great tech card against Buzzwole. If you're expecting a lot of Buzzwole, a lot of people are putting in that Mew EX or that Mewtwo.
Yeah.
And certainly Mewtwo works better in this deck than the
Yeah.
Mew EX. Yeah, really good choice. Really thinking about the metagame and what he's expecting to see Jordan by putting in that Mewtwo. I know a lot of Golysopods used to run a bit of Mr. Mime as well for that spread damage and for the Jet Punch hitting the bench, but a lot of them cut it recently in favor of sort of different tech cards or a bit more consistency. So we're going to see a Jet Punch there, spreading more damage around, softening everything up so a lot of things can be knocked out by Buzzwole in the future, rather than just leaving one thing a lot of damage and prone to being ace or rolled.
Yeah, this means that Jordan now really wants to find Guzma here because doesn't really want to commit a double colorless energy to his Golisopod. Don't really want to ace a Rolla. It's only 30 damage. So if you could find some use out of that Guzma, maybe even knock out that Buzzwole that's damaged, or if he wants to remove that Octillery right now, he is on an odd prize count at 3. So he could find some great use out of that. Double Puzzle's a great way to find those cards you need.
Yeah, Double Puzzle is a excellent way of getting back resources, maybe one-ofs that you've thrown away, or just... It's essentially like the modern-day VS Seeker a lot of the time.
Yeah. A lot of the time you are looking for those key supporters, and he's going to just go ahead and grab 2 Guzma. He knows how important those are to finishing off this matchup.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he targets, the Octillery. Yeah, I think that's it's a good play. It means that if you end, you'd end 2 instead of 1. It may not seem significant, but often an extra card is a really great thing, especially when you're trading away things. And it also prevents Naomi from drawing extra cards. So our only way to get new resources is through those supporters.
Right, and then using the armor press as well, very wise. And I think Naomi just understands it's not going to happen for her this game, and she's going to pack it up and go to game 2.
But she gets to go first this time. I would assume she would go first.
Yeah.
And hopefully gets to hit some of those max elixirs early and can apply a lot of pressure straight away. I don't think we really ever got to see Buzzwole's big attacks like Knuckle Impact and especially Absorption GX, which you're going to want to get off early in the game before you've taken any prizes for maximum effect.
Absolutely. A lot of the time when we're watching a matchup like this, when it's Buzzwole against Zoroark, you see so many times the Buzzwole player can get so much aggression on the basics, but that didn't really happen. Naomi had a pretty slow start, and Jordan was just evolving left and right. He got all of his Pokemon evolved, it felt like by turn 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And we didn't see that. But, of course, that's the other end of the coin. So if Naomi's able to get all that damage down early, we might just see no Zoroarks available because all the Zoruas were knocked out.
Yeah, and that can happen. And I think that is actually a strategy of the Buzzwole player often. Speaking of some of the sort of card choices in Naomi's list, it's a very, very, very consistent list. It looks like she's running a lot of 4-ofs and 3-ofs, different things. Is there anything in either of these lists that you see and think, why was that chosen? Or that you think is missing necessarily?
When we look at Naomi's list, it is super consistent, and I like the fact that she's going with this streamlined version of the deck. You know that it's going to do what it needs to do. It matches up very well against all these Zoroark variants. So if you give yourself maximum Guzmas, maximum Sycamores, all the max elixirs, you're going to put yourself in a favorable position. Over with Jordan's side, his deck is where you can get pretty tricky. You've got a lot of nice tech spots. I love the Evo Soda and the Max Potion. Floatstone was a big key that I think was missing from some lists earlier. It's a fantastic inclusion. And one card that I see that he removed, he actually crossed it out on his list, was a Parallel City. And that's been a card that I think has been so impactful in this matchup, in a lot of different matchups. One that I think back to especially is against Volcanion. We actually got to see that last round, how great it was to limit the bench of a Volcanion, and he just took over. Yeah,
definitely. And so we just saw the prize count for both players, and neither player is having too many important resources prized, so just one of different things and not crucial resources for this matchup. Unfortunately, Naomi, again, starting with that Rockruff, probably not the starter that she wants. Going to force her to have to potentially Guzma later, but I noticed also in her list that she has multiple Floatstones, probably more than you'd expect to see. 3, I believe it is, which is really great when you're not starting with the Pokemon you want to.
That's right. And a lot of the time, you don't start that Buzzwole. You're trying to just get one on the bench so that you can get those max elixirs down very often and early. And I don't know if she has any available to her just yet. I've seen 2, 3 in the deck so far. So we'll see if she's able to find some of those early, because that can be a real key. If you can get that Buzzwole rolling before Jordan's able to find his Mewtwo, you can be in a really great spot.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Jordan on his turn, he's going to want to still bridge it. He has a very planned out turn 1 for pretty much every single matchup, which is just bridge it, get down a couple of win pods, couple of Zoroas, then say, your turn, have a go.
Yeah. And this is not the turn Naomi wanted. She just passed after attaching that energy. So very slow. And Jordan, we're going to get to see him go off. I'm assuming it's going to be that Bridget and have a pretty strong turn.
Yeah, Ultra Ball for what you expect to be a Lele. But again, going to have a look through his deck and just see, hey, what's missing? Is my Mewtwo in here? Do I have any other cards that, are a bit missing, like that 1-of Floatstone?
Yeah.
Or that 1-of Max Potion? Are they here? Am I going to be able to use them early on? Or early in the prizes, I'm going to have to find them.
Could have even taken it a step higher, used a Brooklet Hill, even though he knows it doesn't have any impact in his deck. But
next level plays.
Yeah. Just in case you really just want to shuffle your deck.
Yeah, just want to have a look in there before you make some decisions.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be those things, those 1%ers that actually swing games.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's just going for the 1 Wimpod here, electing to put out a few Zoroas. If that Wimpod can get knocked out, which is still possible by Buzzwole GX next turn, just needs a couple of max elixirs and maybe a few other things to go Naomi's way.
Yeah.
That could put Jordan in a bit of a tricky position potentially, but then we also see that Mewtwo come down.
Right. I think this was a risk that Jordan's ready to take after he saw that Naomi just passed after attaching an energy. He thinks that she's got a pretty slow start, and if her plan is just going to be attach, pass, Mewtwo's going to be the perfect answer. You don't need to get a second Wimpod down. You don't have to worry about Rockruffs.
Yeah, exactly. That Rockruff's not going to be turning into a Lycanroc GX anytime soon, I think. There's no energy on it, so
Right.
It isn't really the best time to use your Dangerous Rogue GX. But yeah, we're going to have to see. It could have been a fake out by Naomi. She could have the perfect hand and just pretending not to. Alternatively, she could just have Hand of Energy, which is what it looks like.
It could just be bad, too, yeah.
Retreats the Rockruff. Will get a knockout on this Zoroark just based on weakness.
Yeah.
And will apply 30 damage to Wimpod.
Yeah, this is where it's really nice to have 2 Zoruas on your bench, because you knew one was likely going to get knocked out here. Mewtwo, as well as being a pretty good card against Buzzwole, the hit points are really important, too. You can take a few shots. And then, of course, just Ace Arola and get played back down. So,
yeah, 130 in general is such an awkward number to hit just because so many people are relying on Zoroarks. And it's only hitting for 120. You can attach Choice Band, sure, but it does nothing to Mewtwo.
Yeah.
So that, especially with Ace Arola and Max Potion, that Mewtwo could hang around for a while. Be a bit of a threat. And
what a great top deck for Jordan. He was able to find the Choice Band, which made him feel comfortable discarding that N. He went and grabbed the Sycamore with the Tapu Lele off the Ultra Ball, and he's in a really great spot just looking for a double colorless.
Yeah, looks like he missed it, though.
Yeah, he's...
does he have any options for Zoroark GX? No, so he's going to pass the turn.
Yeah.
And Naomi, for her part, top decks the Octillery, which is a great top deck there. Able to use that to refill her hand once she gets rid of quite a few cards. And she definitely needs it. Looks like she's got just an Ultra Ball. It might be a Choice Band or another Brooklet Hill and a few energy.
Yeah, so she's probably going to try to thin down here as much as possible and get that Octillery rolling. Also get a quick search of what all's going on in there. She still has had trouble finding items. I don't know why. They're all here on her deck list, but she just can't get them.
And what do? Do you attach to the Buzzwole? Because the more energy you attach to do the more damage, the more at risk you are of this Mewtwo coming back and just hitting you for weakness and potentially knocking out your only attacker.
Yeah, I think if you're playing the Energy Switch version, you take that risk and you attach to the Buzzwole, hoping to get Max Elixir Energy Switch, remove this Mewtwo from the board. But since you don't have any shenanigans like that, I would just play it safe. Try to set up a Lycanroc potentially, and if you can remove that Wimpod, you just let Lycanroc take over the game, and look at that.
Just
Lycanroc coming down. Wimpod is in a world of hurt now.
And that Regirock means that she will get the knockout. Wimpod with its awkward 70 HP basic is really interesting. When all the other basics have 60, she does need the Regirock to be able to hit that Wimpod for the knockout.
Yeah, and that works out great for Naomi. She got to set up her Lycanroc a little bit as well, so it's almost ready to start knocking out Zoroarks, and it's pretty difficult for Jordan after that point. He's going to have to keep trying to stick a Wimpod on his bench, which is going to only have one spot. So if Guzmas are able to chain together, we'll never see a Golisopod come into play.
Yeah, this Lycanroc could just run away with the game, honestly. With the Choice Band and Strong Energy, having that Regirock down as well, it can deal a lot of damage to a lot of Pokemon as long as those Golysopods are kept out of play, which is happening right now.
Yeah, it's a very great strategy, and very impressive to see that she's got a great grasp of this deck and the matchup, and going ahead and taking out that Wimpod.
Yeah, quite a few energy in hand as well. I feel like she's just the queen of having energy in her hand, and not the items, though. But takes the knockout there, goes down to 4 prizes. And is able to put 30, pressure that Zorua as well, saying, Mewtwo, knock me out this turn or I'm taking out that Zorua.
Yeah, it's a very strong play, and we see Jordan finally able to find that double colorless a little bit late.
Has to play one puzzle.
Yeah.
It's never a good thing.
And that was a really bad one, too.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go into his deck with a Mallow.
Oh,
he's just going to have to try to put it on the top, and did I mention I don't like this card?
And this is the difference between getting 4 evolved Pokemon straight away, 3 Zoroark GX, versus getting none, even midway through the game.
And he's made deckless choices, which would seem like he could get there. He has 4 Ultra Ball. He even has the Evo Soda. So when he Sycamored into 7 cards, I fully assumed he was just going to get 3 Zorks into play, or 2 Zorks. And none was the answer.
Didn't happen, unfortunately. Didn't actually see the 2 cards that he put on top there, but I'm sure one of them was probably a Zoroark GX to guarantee the next card.
Yeah.
And he will get that into play unless Naomi is somehow able to Guzma out those Zorua that doesn't have damage and take a double knockout on those Zoruas.
Yeah, I fully expect her to try to go with that. She may be able to. She's got the Guzma in hand right there. Gonna have a tough call, though. Do you remove this Wimpod potentially, or are you going to knock out both Zorua?
Yeah, it's difficult to say. To knock out the Wimpod, you're going to have to add a few more energy to Buzzwole, though, or use your Dangerous Rogue GX, I believe.
Yeah.
You're not going to be getting that Lycanroc online with Claw Slash anytime soon. But, yeah, it's a bit of a tough call. Golisopod could certainly put in some work and put in some damage against that Lycanroc.
Well, she knows that Jordan put some cards on the top of his deck that probably are Zoroark or some sort of supporter to roll into Zoroarks. So maybe it is the right time to just take these off the board and say, yeah, I've got weakness, but you don't have any cards.
Yeah, and Guzma there for the Zorua, and so, yeah, just going for the play of knocking out the 2 Zoruas.
And I think he just
I
scoop
think
up?
Jordan might have recognized that having no Zoroark in play.
Oh, man, I need those. Yeah, I think that's very wise of him. He's going to have 23 minutes now to complete a Game 3. I feel like he's not unfavored in this matchup. He rolled pretty hard in Game 1, so if he's going to go first in this this final Game 3, it's a great time to just pick it up and say, I don't need to waste 10 more minutes. I know you've got it.
Yeah, there's a certain skill to recognizing when the game is over and not just keep trying to sort of bash against a brick wall and get through when you're just not going to. Yeah, to his credit, they now have enough time to complete a Game 3, which I think was an issue with a lot of the games we saw on stream recently today.
Yeah.
People just kept trying to get through when maybe it would have been a better idea to scoop earlier, but they were also pretty close matches as well. So
that's true. It's also really hard to fight through that pride of, I could win, I can come back. Everything tells you that you can make the comeback.
For sure. Everyone has that one story where they thought about
given up.
Yeah. Everyone does have that one story where they thought about giving up, then didn't, and then won.
Yep.
And it plays on your mind every
think
time.
about that every time. Yep.
But yeah, we will see a Game 3 and hopefully a winner. We did break the curse last round. There was a winner. So hopefully we'll see it again.
A lovely winner's interview also.
Who did that? I don't know. Interesting hand from Jordan, and by interesting I mean potentially awful. It has a Zoroark GX and 3 DCE.
That's not what you want. 2 Rockruffs, 2 Buzzwole. That is not good prize cards. Over on Jordan's side, double Ace Arola could be interesting.
Very strange prize cards, especially from Naomi, given that she runs 2 Rockruffs.
She's going to Brooklet Hill at some point and be like, where are my basic Pokemon?
Oh, and that's a DCE on the Lele and a pass.
Maybe these double colorless energies are going to work out well for him. He can just tank this Lele and go in.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the strategy. I think, see a Guzma, a couple more DCE and a Zoroark GX in Jordan's hand. Definitely not what he wanted to see when he's going first, given the first game.
And just imagine how different that hand would be if any of those cards, besides the Zoroark, were a different basic Pokemon. A Pokemon he could start, play the Lele for Bridget, and then just go off, evolve everything, have the double colorless energies. That whole hand was just one card away from being fantastic.
Exactly.
And instead, you're setting up a Lele.
So it's an expensive hand of nothing, unfortunately. So Naomi now playing an Ultra Ball, throwing out 2 Fighting Energy. Not so bad, given that she has 10, but going to get a basic Pokemon down, which ensures that Lele is not just going to take a prize off the Remoraid and win the game, which I think is a good thing from her perspective.
She's also in for the awkward news of that is your only Buzzwole. Sitting at the very top, she grabs and goes, "Oh, it's just going to be us, buddy." All right.
Mosquitoes for the win. No, it's she's probably gone through once and said, I must have missed it.
Yeah.
There's got to be one there. And then you go through the second time. And
is it in my hand?
No. But it's not all is lost. Buzzwole can still sweep a game from here. A few max elixirs, like I keep going on about and never seeing.
Yeah, has she played one yet?
I don't actually think we've seen one.
That's very surprising that she's already been able to take a game, and she's got to be favored after seeing Jordan's hand, and she's played none.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this game we'll see how this deck is supposed to run. And just apply pressure now, so that'll be 50 damage to the Lele. I mean, next turn potentially more. There's a max elixir.
Oh, if she gets one more, actually, she could just potentially win, right?
Yeah, but I think that's a miss, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That would have been a bizarre series.
That would have been
something.
3
games. What are you even Brooklet Hill for here? Another Buzzwole? I mean, Rockruff is not an option.
You don't have another Buzzwole.
Oh, it's prized, of course. Oh, no, there are 3 Buzzwole.
Yeah, so she would maybe get another Remoraid? I don't know. You don't really want to grab a Sudowoodo just yet. What's it going to do?
Possibly a Regirock?
Yeah.
It's
definitely awkward here. And I don't know if you'd even grab Regirock. It'd be weird for when you see Jordan have a hand of just passing, you assume he has those awkward supporters like a Guzma, and that might just buy him enough time.
Yeah, definitely. Regirock is that card that's so great when it gives you that 10 buff and so terrible when it's trapped in the active spot.
Right.
So we're going to have to see, will she play the Max Elixir? Sure, I mean, why not? It sets yourself up for a win next turn if Jordan just can't get a basic.
Absolutely, and she finds it right here, so she might just be 1 turn away from ending this game and this match.
And I guess the next question is, do you promote the Buzzwole now and apply pressure, or do you wait? And then wait for that absorption or knuckle impact?
Well, it could be scary. You know that Jordan plays Enhanced Hammer, so if you just promote and hit for 50 right now, and he's got the Enhanced Hammer, he might be able to knock you out before you knock him out.
Yeah, definitely. On the flip side, though, if he plays Field Blower and you've got that Remoraid stuck in the active, that's not particularly helpful either.
That's true.
Did Jordan find anything?
Did not see what he drew, but I think it's bad.
Yeah.
Does get to use the Brooklet Hill. Gonna remember that none of his Pokemon are water or fighting.
Yeah, I just had to think for a minute if any of them were. You never know, Octillery pops up in a lot of different decks.
That's right.
But probably not when you're playing
Maybe not
Zoroark.
trades, yeah.
But yeah,
like,
it's gonna have a
man,
look through
I
and
could have
say-
drawn any of you guys. Drew none.
Yeah, just quickly checking what is prized, which is everything you needed.
Yep. And I think that's it. Unless that card was an Enhanced Hammer, I don't know if he's going to be able to buy any time. I think it's just knockout.
I think it's also that mental game of, if I shuffle, surely I'll draw something good
Yeah,
the next
come on.
time, right?
Bring him to the top.
So there is the Guzma, and that will get out the Remoraid.
Oh, that's
which
true, yeah.
Sort of buys him a little bit of time if Naomi can't Max Elixir and attach. You can't play Guzma if your opponent does not have a benched Pokemon.
That's true.
So that won't be a switching option for that Remoraid.
Yeah, we know she does have 3 Floatstones, so potentially could see that come into play if she's able to find another one. It
And
looks
this
like
is-
she has Ultra Ball too, so she'd be able to find the Octillery to draw a little more before the supporter.
And this is one of those moments where you as a player think, I can win this right now.
Right.
Don't mess up the steps.
Maximize every little percentage here.
And so seeing the Ultra Ball there, getting rid of Super Rod, not particularly necessary when you need to go aggressive and get this win.
Yep.
Yeah, I think a Max Elixir and an Energy, or an Energy and a Floatstone, it's pretty much seal up this game. And
Yeah.
what is probably the weirdest best of 3 that we've seen so far, I'd say.
It's definitely been bizarre. I think right now she needs to grab herself an Octillery. She has an Energy in her hands, but I don't think you attach it yet. I think you don't want to commit too hard to either the Max Elixir or the Floatstone. You just want to give yourself options for both. And then if you hit one, then you play the Energy in the other spot, which will win you the game.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a little bit of order of operations going on here that you've sort of got to be aware of. And like you said, maximize every step that you take so that you can get that win.
Even Brooklet Hill.
Yeah.
She wisely decides to go ahead and use that. Just get one more card out of your deck and make sure that you're in the best spot. Sudowoodo, not going to do anything here, but at least it's not a Floatstone that you're not going to find later.
True. If she does miss this turn, though, Guzma is available to Jordan to
Yeah.
just get that Sudowoodo out, and it is 1 energy more to retreat.
By
so it
a
makes
little
it
more
just
time.
a little bit more difficult. But I think you're right. You have to go for this. You don't want to draw it into that Sudowoodo when you could draw the energy, or you could draw the Floatstone to get you the win. You've got to maximize that Abyssal hand.
Absolutely.
So we'll see what the options left are.
Yeah, just going to try to find it. Max
Ooh, Max
Elixir.
Elixir.
Here we go. If she finds a fighting energy here, then she is going to win this match.
5. No! Oh, misses it.
So close.
This game shouldn't look like it's exciting, but it actually is.
Well,
It's,
she's still not done yet. She does have a supporter for the turn. She can play her energy onto the Buzzwole, and it's probably more likely that you should just commit and try to find the Floatstone instead.
yeah.
We'll see what she decides to go with here, though.
I mean, you could always just retreat and apply pressure. I mean, just put more damage down onto the Tapu Lele. I don't think that would hurt.
Yeah, I think I guess she's just going to count out. She does. I mean, Max Elixir is a potential win, and Floatstone is an auto win, and she's got 2 of each in her deck left. So I guess the best odds would be the Floatstone, and I think she's going to see that. She's going to go for the 7, needs this Floatstone.
3 cards, 4. Still not the Floatstone. 5, 6. Choice Band is not a Floatstone.
Oh,
misses again.
yeah, not able to find it, and not even a way to get out of the active spot in the following turn. She didn't find a basic fighting energy.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, that strong energy not able to be attached to Pokemon that aren't fighting. Jordan, though, for his turn, depending on what he draws, but I suspect that he will definitely Guzma out that Sudowoodo and just say, now you definitely need a Floatstone, not just an energy.
Well, maybe that shuffle was able to give him something. No, it's the Zoroark.
Wow.
So that is very, very unfortunate, and he just has to pass. I don't even think he had the Guzma. He just doesn't even want to put damage on the Remoraid.
Yeah, no need.
It says, if you have that one Acerola, I don't want to give you that L.
that tech Acerola. So there's the Lele. Do you just get a Sycamore and go again?
I think you just try again. She can even use Brooklet Hill, bench anything. And
yeah, which is exactly what she's doing. She's gone for the Regirock.
Yeah, and just go. All you need to find is a Floatstone here or a... she might as well... She might already have it and just be getting rid of a supporter in her deck to thin out a little too. So
yeah, that's true.
Very smart there. She does have a second Octillery, but I don't even know if you go for it because you want to leave basic fighting as an option to retreat and win the game.
It's 1 extra energy, and that extra energy counts, especially when you don't run DCE.
Yeah.
You check on the choice band for good measure, surely.
Yeah.
There we go.
Works out well for her, and just going to dump the hand, try
again.
again.
7 cards.
Surely she'll find it. And yes, there it is.
So Naomi Murn takes it over Jordan Palmer, and he reveals his ridiculous hand of unplayability.
That would make for a good binder, but not a good hand.